Hey guys, today we're going to do lesson 27, which is Composite Transformations. Basically what this means is when there are two or more transformations that are combined to form a new transformation. So the result is called a composition of transformations, which basically just means there's more than one happening. The symbol for this is going to be this open circle. It looks kind of like the degrees symbol, but instead of being in the top right corner, it's just in the middle of the two transformations as you see here. And then they're always completed in the reverse order as they're written. So for example, whatever comes second, you're going to always do first, and whatever comes first, you're going to always do second, which I know is confusing, but that's just the way we do it with these composite transformations. So looking at the examples, it says, given the point A for -1, find A prime after the A double prime. And again, the reason there's two primes here is because I'm doing two different transformations. So I'm doing reflecting over the x-axis, and then I'm doing translating 3, 4. So you're going to start here with the translation. So I'm just adding 3 to the x value and 4 to the y value. So I'm doing 4 plus 3 for the x value and -1 plus 4. So my new coordinate is going to be 7, 3 after the first thing, and then I'm going to reflect over the x-axis. Reflecting, I use a lowercase r, and when I reflect over the x-axis, I just keep the x coordinate and I negate the y, so that means I make the y coordinate a negative. So my answer is 7, -3 for number 1. For number 2, it says find the image of B, -4, -1 under the given compositions. So again, I'm going to box in the second one on all of these because that's the ones that we're always going to do first. Always start with the second thing. You're working from the outside in. So I'm starting with 4, -1. When I reflect that over the y-axis, that means I negate the x. So I'm changing -4 to +4, and I'm keeping the y value the same. And then I'm going to do reflecting over the x value, the x-axis. When I reflect in the x, I negate the y. So I keep the x value the same, and I negate the -1 to a +1. So the answer for A is 4, 1. For the second one, first thing I'm doing is reflecting over the line y equals x. When I do that, I switch my coordinates. So instead of -4, -1, it's going to change to -1, -4. And then the second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to translate that -1, 4. So that means I'm going to subtract 1 from the -1, which gives me -2. And I'm going to add 4 to the -4, which gives me 0. So my final answer there is -2, 0. And then for C, it says first I'm going to dilate by -2. So that means that I'm going to multiply both of my coordinates by -2. So I'm doing -4 times -2, which is +8, because a negative times a negative is a positive. And -1 times -2 is +2. So that was my first one. And my second transformation is to translate over -2, 4. So I'm subtracting 2 from the 8, which gives me 6. And I'm adding 4 to the 2, which gives me 6 as well. So my final answer there is going to be 6, 6. So those were your examples, and same process for the rest of these. So the first thing we're going to do is numbers 1 and 2 right now, and then I'm going to have you do numbers 3 and 4 for homework. It says, what is the image of point A, 4, 2, after the composition of transformations? Reflect over the origin, and then reflect over the line y equals x. So we're going to start off with the second one, reflect over y equals x. Again, like we talked about above, that just means we switch the coordinates. So instead of 4, 2, it's 2, 4. And then second, I'm going to reflect over the origin. And when I reflect over the origin, that means I negate both x and y. So all that means is you make both of them negative. So 2 comma 4 then goes to negative 2 comma negative 4. And that's the answer for number 1. And then for number 2, given the point t, negative 2, negative 1, find its image after the composite transformation. Reflect over the x-axis and then dilate twice, times 2. So I'm going to start with the dilation. I'm going to multiply everything by 2. So I get negative 4 comma negative 2. And then after that, I'm going to do the first thing, which was reflect over the x-axis. So when I reflect over the x-axis, I negate the y-coordinate only. So I keep the x, and I switch negative 2 to positive 2. So my answer is negative 4 comma 2. So that's composite transformations. You already know how to do all of the individual transformations. The only thing that's different here is you're doing two things instead of one. So remember, you do the second thing first and the first thing second, which I know is a little bit confusing. Just remember that the order is reversed. For homework, you're going to do number 3 and number 4. Make sure that you show a graph for number 4, so either use graph paper, print out some graph paper, you can print out this exact page, or just make sure you're drawing a graph on your separate sheet of paper you're using to show your work. Okay, so if you don't have the graph drawn and you don't have the image for part B drawn, then you're not going to get full credit. You need to make sure that you have all the work here for these 2 questions and the graph. So that's going to be your homework tonight. I'll write that on here. And I hope you guys have a fabulous day.